Free agency has officially underway as we are heading into day 3. The Bengals were active in day 1, not so much in the rest of the days. And Trey Hendrickson is now a Baltimore Raven. We're going to cover that and more here on Around the Jungle. Hello, everybody. My name's Evan. I'm joined with Zach. And today is Wednesday, so technically free agency has officially started, but the negotiation window started on Monday. And the Bengals were pretty active in the first 3 or 4 hours on Monday, signing 2 players, Boe Mafe from the Seahawks for 3 years, $60 million, and Brian Cook from the Chiefs as well for another 3-year deal. So Zach, what do you grade both of those signings, those 2 signings?
Well, I came home from work on Monday and I was pretty excited because these 2 deals happened within like 3 hours of each other Monday afternoon. Um, if you ask me, well, okay, let's start there. So for those 2 specific deals, I'm giving them an A. I think they were just knock out of the park signings. I love both those signings. Huge signings, huge signings. Um, so if you would have asked me Monday night what I give the Bengals free agency overall so far, A. I think they knocked it out of the park on Monday. You asked me today, C minus, maybe even a D plus. So, super happy with how things started, and they have aggressively went downhill over the last 2 days, and really it's our own fault. So we're just shooting ourselves in the foot again, per usual. Um, but I mean, no, I think that those 2 signings in particular were great signings. I think that Brian Cook, I mean, those are 2 guys that we said on here last week that we should sign. So, I mean, I think it's kind of a dream scenario for both those guys. I mean, I like how both of them have won Super Bowls. I think that's a big I think that's a big piece, because both of those guys have had, have won championships, and I think that's a huge thing to bring into the locker room. Obviously, Brian Cook has been one of the best safeties in the NFL, coming through his rookie contract. He's only 27. He's missed like barely any tackles over the past couple seasons. So Brian Cook's awesome. I mean, he is just like that was a splash signing. I love it. He's from Cincinnati, so bring him back home. Um, that's huge. And then Boy Mafi, big fan of that signing as well. The reason that I'm a bigger fan of that signing, I don't think he's a spectacular pass like he's not gonna have like 20 sacks, but he's just a really tough guy. I think that he strikes me as more of a good run stuffer, and I think he'll get pressures, but he might just not have like the gaudy sack numbers. But I think that's important. So I really like that signing just because of that. Because he's from the Seahawks. The Seahawks defense was known for being absolutely stifling this past season, and a lot of that was because of their front. Um, and so I'm super excited to see a guy from that defensive front come to the Bengals. I think that's a huge, huge addition at a position of just desperate need. So I think both of those signings are really honestly phenomenal signings. I think the deals are good. Both of them are only 27, so they should both be kind of going into their prime years. So I love both those signings. Really big fan of both of them.
Yeah, I agree. I think both of them definitely fill needs and are big upgrades. Mafe, brings more of a he's more of a run defender, but this past year he did have 13.2% pressure rate, so he can get to the quarterback. He's shown that. Didn't play as much for the Seahawks as he usually does, just because I think that room was pretty crowded, but was still pretty productive. Finished with around 70 PFF grade, but the year before with a 75, he had 6 sacks. So Mafe is the guy who can come in, really help the run, really help the pass. He's a freak athlete, so definitely good, and he'll be in the rotation with, as of right now, Shamar Stewart and Miles Murphy. And then Brian Cook was a guy, that we really pegged as a guy that the Bengals should go after last week, and it really felt obvious with his Cincinnati ties, our desperate need at safety. And I was really thrilled that we got it done. He's, like you said, one of the best safeties in the market. I think he only missed like 11% of his tackles in the last 2 years or something
Yeah,
like that.
something like crazy good.
So he's he's going to be a massive, massive upgrade over Geno Stone, and he's going to really help the run, help the pass. Um, and he had an 80 run grade last year. Was fourth highest graded safety. So two big signings there. And I big fans of both of those. I think they raised the floor and the ceiling of the defense. But unfortunately, those are the only two signings they've made. We're 3 days in, and they've only made
And
two
that's
signings.
why I say it's a D plus.
Yeah, and there's a lot of guys that we thought were good fits and guys who I thought would be easy contracts, like Leo Chenal or Javon Hargrave or
And they
guys like
were
that.
easy contracts for the teams that actually gave it to him.
Yeah, and so I'm really disappointed with how the last 2 days have gone. Monday was a great day. They were aggressive. They made two good signings, but that can't be it. And so I'm hoping that they do something because
Well,
I'm
I
starting to
mean,
get worried.
it's what they did last year. I mean, not necessarily the same thing, but they went out and they signed 2 guys, and that was pretty much it. I mean, they signed that guy from the Packers, and then they signed, like, one other dude. Now, obviously, this year, both of the signings that they've done have been significantly better signings, but it's just not enough. I mean, when you have top 10 cap space in the NFL, and you have I mean, in all honesty, quite possibly the worst defense ever assembled at the NFL level in the history of the game, you can't get away with 2 signings. I don't care how good those 2 signings are. We are in desperate need at, I would say, every single defensive position except for maybe corner. So, I just don't think that you can stop with that. You had a great first day, but you gotta keep it going. And like you said, there have been 2 guys that have went off the board over the last 2 days that would have been great pieces that we've said they should have gotten. You got Leo Chenal, is that how you pronounce his last name? From the Chiefs. He would have been a great fit. What did he get, like $8 million a year, something like that?
Yeah,
Quickly signable contract. And then the bigger one was Devin Lloyd, who went to the did he where did he go?
Panthers,
Jaguars? Yeah. He went to the
Panthers.
Jaguars for, I mean, more money, but still payable. I can't remember what his was on a yearly basis, but it was, we could have did it is my point, you know.
Yeah,
So
they finished like right. I think they finished right behind for him. They were second.
yeah, so it's like y- y- you gotta get these guys. Like those are 2 guys that, okay, we lose out on Devin Lloyd. I wasn't shocked about that because Devin Lloyd is kind of a top end linebacker. So I'm kind of like, okay, like that would have been really helpful. And seeing the contract that he got from the Jags, like we could have given him that. But okay, you know, you can't. I mean, it's the Bengals, so you can't expect them to really do a lot of good things. That was kind of my mindset when Devin Lloyd went to the Jags. But, you know, losing Leo Chenal, that one is like what are we doing here? You know, $8 million a year is a drop in the bucket. We had a top 10 cap space in the NFL, and you can't give this guy who is a quality player at a position of desperate need $8 million a year. I mean, you can't. There's no excuse for that one. You know, like I said, Devin Lloyd. It's like we definitely could have and should have got him, but like I said, you can't expect the Bengals to do very many good things. So I kind of let that one go pretty quickly. But this one is unexcusable. I mean, this was an easy deal to get done. You're telling me that we couldn't have given him $9 million a year? I mean, seriously. And this is our linebacking room is like
The
shockingly
worst.
bad. It like I mean, if you were not a Bengals fan, I don't think you can name a single linebacker in our entire room now that we traded Logan Wilson away. Heck, I struggle to name one off the dome. I mean, these guys are like genuinely no names. Like our starting linebackers would probably be on most other teams' practice squads. So like this is like it's just unexcusable that we didn't get him. I mean, this is a deal that easily could have been done day one, to be honest with you. Um so yeah, pretty disappointed about that. And then there's another thing I'm disappointed about, but we'll get into that one in a second probably. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on us missing out on some of these? I mean, I I mainly touched on the linebackers. There's a couple defensive linemen that I mean, a guy that I said, the John Franklin Myers from the Broncos, he went day one. So, that one would have been really nice too, because we desperately need defensive interior help. But, that's another one where I was kind of like, I mean, he's a big time guy. The Bengals don't like making big time moves. But my emotions were quickly fixed with the two signings that we did make on day one. But now I'm like, okay, we're in desperate need of linebackers. We're in desperate need of defensive tackle. And to be quite frank with you, another defensive end. We need another edge. If I was the Bengals, I would sign at least one linebacker, one defensive tackle, and one more edge. If I was the GM, I would not even have been close to being done with free agency after day one. I'd assigned those two guys, and I would have been even more aggressive on day 2 and 3 because those two guys are huge, but it's just not enough because our defense is that bad. Like I said, we need help. Like we are like gushing blood at every defensive position. So this just isn't going to cut it, especially when you've got guys that we easily could have gotten going to other teams for contracts that we easily could have paid. Anyways, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think we still desperately need a linebacker, a defensive tackle, another edge rusher. Um, and I think the Leo Chenal contract was really disappointing. I thought that that was a guy that made a lot of sense. Was a guy who was young, was not going to be extremely expensive. Like, yeah, I feel like there's no reason why we couldn't give him 9 million a year, And so that one was really disappointing for me. And then pretty much the linebacker room on day two, like the linebacker free agents dwindled pretty quickly yesterday. So now there's really like the only one that's worth anything is like Dre Greenlaw, and he's coming off of like two major injuries. And so now you're kind of sitting here like, well, why couldn't you make it happen? Like I don't feel like it was that difficult of a contract. And I mean, I feel like everyone was kind of penciling him in as a potential guy for the Bengals to go after, and they just didn't get it done. And so, yeah, the linebacker I think is one of the weakest parts of the team. And Al Golden said during the combine, he was like, "Yeah, we need to add a linebacker. We're going to add a linebacker. We're going to get somebody who can play on the line and play off the edge and put Demetrius Knight-Moore in a normal linebacker role." And they haven't done that yet, and we're 3 days in. And so that's disappointing. The Chenal news was extremely disappointing for me. I thought that was just a kind of a given. And then, we've seen a lot of some of these defensive tackles and edge rushers that they potentially could have gone after that have been going off the market. So it seems to, 3 days in, there's not a whole lot left that I'm like super excited about.
Board's pretty dry now.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just so frustrating when, like, I know none of us believed him when he said this, but Duke Tobin said we're quote unquote going all in, and then they make two signings and then they don't do anything for 2 days. And that's what they did last year. They made two signings and then didn't do anything for this free agency. And it's like there's just a lot of moves that seem fairly simple that you should be able to get done. And guys that, I mean, I know the Bengals are extremely cheap and they always have been, but guys who shouldn't have to break the bank, and like Chenal with 9 million, that's not anything crazy. Like you said, we have top 10 cap space. We should be able to get stuff done. And we saw last year how not being active in free agency affected the entire season. The defense was awful because they didn't add anybody to the defense in free agency, really. And now, with the Joe Burrow situation and all that stuff lingering, and I thought it would be a little bit different, but we're 3 days in and super happy with the first two moves they did and what they did on day one. But that can't be it. You have to continue to add players. Realistically, we should have added probably at least 4 to 5 new defensive starters in free agency is what we should leave free agency with, is 4 to 5 new defensive starters. And
I think
as of right now, we have 2. And so I
yeah,
don't know if we're going to find how that's going to go here, but
I think
they need to get their act together now, or we're going to have a repeat situation of last year.
yeah, and I mean, it just comes down to, at this point in the game with, Burrow and Chase in the positions that they're in, it's like, I mean, are you gonna spend money or are you gonna let these guys walk out the door? Like, are you gonna get off your butts? Are you gonna do what needs to be done, or are you gonna let these 2 Hall of Famers walk out your door? That's what it's gonna come down to. Because, if we don't win now, they're going to leave. Like, it's gonna happen, you know? And I think we're trending closer in the direction of them leaving than we are of them staying and us winning a Super Bowl. And we're not really doing much to fix that, I mean, like, to be truthfully honest and truthfully realistic with you, our free agency at this current point in time, as of today, filming this podcast, we should have Brian Cook, Boy Mafi, Leo Chenal, and I would say one of the defensive tackles. I think maybe it's DJ Reader. Maybe we bring him back. I think that's where we should stand right now. As of right now, we should have 4 players signed, I think, at minimum. And then maybe we're sitting here having the discussion of, okay, what edge do we pick up for the last day? You know? Like, I think that's where we should be sitting right now. Like, okay, we need one more edge. Which one are we gonna target? Maybe that's the conversation we're having right now. But it's not. So yeah, I'm pretty disappointed with with the last 2 days here, because like I said, I think that we should have Brian Cook, Boy Mafi, Leo Chenal, and one of the defensive tackles. It doesn't have to be John Franklin Myers. I'm not shocked that it isn't, but there was several defensive tackles that are on this list. I mean, would I rather bring a different guy in than DJ Reader? Yes. But at this point, I mean, we got, beggars can't be choosers. So if it's him, that's great. But my point being is we should have at least 4 players signed through today, and we have 2. And it's just really disappointing to see guys that we easily could have gotten fly off the board. And I mean, I think with the Brian Cook signing, I think, thinking positively, I think that signing has kind of stabilized our defensive back room. Because if you think about it, our corners are not in a world of hurt. Our corners could be better, but they're not like, I think we can win games with our corners. Our safeties now, I think, are pretty good. With Brian Cook and Jordan Battle, I think we have pretty good safeties duo now. So I think our defensive back room is pretty solid, been decently stabilized through that signing. But every other thing that we need on our linebacker room, our interior defensive line, our edges, we still desperately need help with all of those spots. So I don't know. I think we're kind of dropping the ball here.
Yeah, well, to add salt to the wound of not going after a few of these guys, crazy last 24 hours for I guess the AFC North and the Baltimore Ravens, as they backed out of the Max Crosby deal with the Raiders. because of a quote unquote failed physical. And so they get their 2 first-round picks back. And then Trey Hendrickson, like the morning later, signs with them for 4 years. So that's not great for the Bengals. But before we talk about what that trade means for the Bengals, I just want to talk. The Ravens definitely like got cold feet and were like, we'd rather have Trey Hendrickson in our 2 first-round picks than have Max Crosby. That's what they came to realize. So they quote unquote, I don't know if they faked his failed physical, but I don't believe that they were like that there wasn't something in there that they weren't kind of like, oh crap, we could just get Trey Hendrickson, who's not as pretty much as the same as Max Crosby, and we get to keep our 2 first-round picks. We're going to do that instead. So a little bit of weird stuff there, but Trey Hendrickson is a Baltimore Raven, unfortunately, and now he's going to be lining up against Joe Burrow and the Bengals. And this is why we said for months that you need to tag him, because you can dictate where he goes, so something like this doesn't happen. And of course, it happened.
Yeah, I mean, it's just this was the worst case scenario for the Trey Hendrickson debacle. I mean, it genuinely probably could not be worse than what just happened. I mean, first of all, yeah, kind of a weird situation with the Ravens. The Ravens are kind of being screwballs and getting away with some bull crap here. And you guys wonder why I can't stand them so much. Bunch of dirt bags. They're definitely screwing Max Crosby over here. There's no way he failed that physical. Dude's like in his late 20s. Like something happened there. Something weird happened there. But anyways, to talk about the Trey Hendrickson stuff. I mean, Trey Hendrickson just gave a big middle finger to Cincinnati, man. I mean, that's just because he was going to go to the Colts until this whole thing with the Ravens fell through. So I don't know. I'm not super happy with Trey Hendrickson right now. But I'm also equally not happy with the Bengals because, like you said, this entire situation could have easily been avoided if we would have tagged him and traded him. Like I just simply will. It is just beyond me why we didn't tag him. I don't understand why we didn't tag him. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand. I mean, there better be a dang good reason out there that I don't know as to why we didn't tag him, because it doesn't. I mean, it just. So the result of us not tagging him is him going to our division rival. Like, I mean, that's unacceptable. And on top of that, if we would have tagged him, who's to say we couldn't have shipped him off to Vegas with a first-round pick for Max Crosby? Like, I mean, I think that could have been a possibility. What do you think?
It's incompetence, malpractice, ineptitude, whatever you want to say. It's just from the top down, like we've said, it's just horrible. And it was such an obvious move. And I think the reason they didn't do it is because, it's messy to, have a guy who doesn't want to be there on the team and then trying to figure out a trade and everything. Well, if you want to win, you have to do some stuff. You might have to do some messy things. Just ask the Ravens the last 24 hours. But you can't, you seriously cannot tell me that there was no market for Trey Hendrickson, because Rashawn Gary, who is not even close to the level of. Yeah, he's not even close to the level of Trey Hendrickson. The Cowboys traded a 4th-round pick for him. You're telling me the Cowboys wouldn't give us a 3rd for Trey Hendrickson? I don't believe that there was just, we tried, but nobody wanted him. Like, we couldn't get anything for him. Like, I don't agree. There's no way that you couldn't get some sort of pick. We were past the point of getting a 1st or a 2nd. We were just at least you're just dictating where he goes, because we knew coming into the offseason There was a decent chance that the Ravens would be interested in Trey Hendrickson if he hit the market. We knew that coming in. It was the Colts were the one that was always talked about, but in that discussion was also the Ravens, the Cowboys, Tampa Bay. Like there was a lot of teams that were in that discussion, and it worst case scenario happened because of course it does. When has it not? Um, and you have the Ravens who were, already a great team. And now they add Trey Hendrickson, who, when healthy, last time he was healthy, had 17 and a half sacks. And he's going to be playing with Jesse Minter, who's a defensive minded head coach. So I'm sure he'll be pretty good. And it's like, we could have foreseen this happening. When the Max Crosby deal went out, I was like, yeah, they're getting Trey Hendrickson. Like that's pretty much a done deal. Like, that's probably going to happen. But it's just I don't know if it's Duke Tobin or the Brown family or a bit of both, but they just have, their level of incompetence with trying to put together a good team is just mind-boggling to me. Like,
They
it's just
genuinely
simple
suck,
things
dude.
that they just, I don't know. I think they just try to not be in the spotlight, or just, I don't know. I don't think they really understand what it takes to win. And I think they're just, I don't know. We've said it for a while that they're just doing this for a money thing, but it's just moves like that where I don't know if any other team, it just happens to like immediately backfires in their face. We don't know. Trey Hendrickson might not be what he was in 2024, but it's still obviously an upgrade for the Ravens, and you still don't want a guy like that, A, to leave your building for nothing, and B, to go to a division rival that you're going to have to play twice a year. And so I guess would I rather have him on the Ravens than Max Crosby? Probably. But now the Ravens get their 2 first-round picks back, and so, the Max Crosby deal at least kind of limited their draft and stuff and maybe some of their salary cap, but now they get both of those back. So, they could very easily draft a guard or wide receiver, and then you still have obviously Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry and Zay Flowers, and it's just like you've just, of course this happened. Why would we think
Yeah.
anything different would happen? And so it's just frustrating, annoying. And then it's like, okay, well, all right, Bengals, what are you going to do now? And they're like, oh, we're
We're not gonna
what
do
did you
anything.
say? We're in Hawaii right now, just chilling on the beach. I
Yeah.
saw the Trey Hendrickson news. That sucks, but good for him, I guess. It's like
Yeah, that's
they're like,
pretty
oh,
much what they
what are
do.
you talking about? We made our 2 signings. What else do you want us to do? It's like, get
You
better
guys are
players. Like,
freaking
your franchise quarterback is threatening retiring, and everyone every single day is like, yeah, he should request a trade. He should request a trade. I see that almost every day. And like, I feel like the Bengals are like the punching bag of the NFL. Like this entire
Oh,
offseason,
yeah.
everyone's just been making jokes. And like when Crosby got traded, everyone was like, oh, Joe Burrow is just gonna freaking die. And every
Yeah.
single news outlet, Twitter account was just clowning them, and they're like, oh, like they're the laughing stock of the NFL, and they wonder why, their best
They do
player
it to
wants to.
themselves.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And it's like, I feel like the fans are tired, the players are tired. Like it's crazy how things have just panned out. And I was so happy on Monday. I was like, all right, we're being active, we're doing something. We got 2 guys that I really wanted. And so, we're on the upward trajectory, like we're gonna go at it. And then not even a week, like 2 days later, I'm like, yeah, this freaking sucks. We let our best defensive player go to our division rival, and we haven't made any other signings yet. So it's like, what are we
Yeah,
doing?
it pretty much just blows up. Like it blew up in our faces as bad as it could have been. It's like I said when we started this conversation. I genuinely don't know if this Trey Hendrickson situation could have been worse. Like this genuinely might be the worst possible scenario of the Trey Hendrickson situation. I don't think it could. I do not think that this situation could have went worse than it has, and it's our fault.
Yeah, it's
Like,
ridiculous.
it's just, it's like you were saying, it's a simple tag and trade, man. Like, I mean, even if you trade him for a 4th round pick, you know, some even if you trade him for draft capital that is like nothing, at least you're choosing where he goes. At least you're not shipping him to a direct division rival that is competing for championships every year. Like, I mean, it's just insane. I mean, and I just, I as, I am still not totally sold that we couldn't have traded him and I think that we could have put him in a package and got a really good player for him. I think we could have put him in a package and got Max Crosby. So I just think, I mean, yeah, I think that this was the worst possible scenario. And it's just really frustrating to see, like, yeah, just how bad this has blew up in our faces and how we've done nothing about it. Like, I mean, shoot, Max Crosby's on the market again. Like,
Yeah,
we could fix this and we could go get Max Crosby, but we're not going to do that.
we should be at
Um,
least giving them a call.
yeah, I mean, it's just crazy to me because it's like, okay, this Trey Hendrickson situation like blew up in our faces as bad as it possibly could. And like you said, our owners and GM are just gonna sit on their butts and pretty much do nothing. And you know, pretty much like you said, just be like, oh yeah, that sucks, and we're gonna do everything we can to fix it, and they're not gonna do anything to fix it. So, I mean, it's just, yeah, it's yeah. To say it's frustrating is
An
not even
understatement.
close to an understatement. I mean, it's
Yeah,
just like, I mean, you can't, like, I yeah, it's hard to put into words how, like, frustrating and just how, like, incompetent the Cincinnati Bengals organization is, you know? Like,
yeah,
I don't kn I don't think that I've ever seen a worse run business and a worse run, like, sports organization. I mean, I think the Cincinnati I mean, it's like you said, we're like, the Bengals are the laughing stock of the NFL. It's their own fault. They are I think the Bengals are, like, the glaring example of how to not run a professional sports organization. Like, I think every other sports organization in the entire world looks at the Bengals and says, "That is what not to do." So, yeah, it's bad. It's really bad. I mean, it's just it's like we've said all along, and like we continue beating that, you know, dead horse of, you know, I've been saying it for years now. I think I would rather have some soccer team in South Africa's ownership over ours. It just couldn't be worse. I mean, I think that our ownership and, you know, general management is just it's the bottom of the barrel. You know, we're a laughing stock and it's our own fault. You know, we keep doing bull crap like this. You know, we get 2 great players, we give everybody hope, fans and players hope, and then we shoot it all to crap and we sit on our butts and we do nothing while letting our best player go to a division rival for no return capital. So, I mean, it's just insane how incompetent this franchise is. It's really truly unbelievable.
yeah. Well, I'll end on potentially a little bit of a lighter note. Some guys that I think they could go after to make me feel a little bit better about this offseason. Joey Bosa is still on the board. Bobby
Uh-huh.
Wagner,
Yeah.
as Campbell at D tackle. You
Those are
have
3
Jadeveon
great guys right there.
Clowney. Yeah. Clowney, DJ Reader, Arnold Ebikadi, and I've heard we're interested in David Njoku, which I know he's on offense, but that would be a great tight end for us to get. I would love
Yeah.
Njoku, but
Yeah.
um yeah, I mean there's still a handful of guys that I think could definitely come in and help right away. So hopefully they're in on at least a few of them.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know, man. I'm just really ugh, I don't know. I'm just really sick and tired of these morons. I mean, it's bad when it's bad when me and you could genuinely do a better job of running this team. And I fully believe that too. I mean, I'm not even just saying that because I mean, I fully believe that me and you could walk into that franchise and run it better than what it's being ran right now. I fully believe that. There is not an ounce of doubt within me that we would not do a better job than current ownership.
We just have to come up with a few $1 billion ideas, and
Yeah, I
we'll get
guess
there.
so, yeah.
So we'll
And
start
he
working.
kicked
We'll
these
start
guys out
working
of
on it.
Cincinnati.
Yeah, we'll start working on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully they make a few more signings, and we're back here maybe in a few days and talking about maybe some better things. But as it seems to happen with the Bengals, most of the stuff we talk about is pretty negative. So I'm sure it will continue to be that. But hopefully we make a few signings to make me feel at least a little bit better about about how things are. But love the first two moves. Love day one. Day 2 and 3 very disappointing. Um, and the
Day
kick in the
3
nuts
might be
was
the
Trey
worst
Hendrickson.
possible day.
Yeah, and yeah, the kick in the nuts was Trey Hendrickson. But that's gonna wrap it up for us today. Hope you guys did enjoy our 35-minute rant on the Bengals free agency. Make sure to like and subscribe if you did, and agree with our Bengals, I guess, frustrations.
Mhm.
And hopefully we are here um, in a few days, maybe talking about something better, but probably not. But we'll see you guys in the next one.